Yeah. I deal with this issue a lot. More than other people, I think. I think a lot of other people, when they're dealing with the loss of a fighter that they care about, they're maybe a little less invested than I am. Maybe they're not. I don't know. All I can do is speak for myself. And I'm an emotional person. I'm a person where every time I see a fighter cry on The Ultimate Fighter, I start crying. Because I'm so empathetic. I have so much empathy inside me, I really feel what they're feeling. It doesn't matter what they're crying over either. Well, unless they're like drunk crying. And then like I have a real good ability to just like feel like, oh buddy. I'm not drunk. I don't feel it. My empathy doesn't extend that far. I don't feel your drunkenness. But when you start crying about, especially when it's the kids. Especially when the Ultimate Fighter guys are like sitting there being like, I miss my kids. I miss my kid. My daughter is at daycare right now so that I can have the peace and quiet to do these podcasts. I start crying when they start crying about their kids because my kid's not here. One time I was crying over a kid that was missing and my daughter was literally in my lap. That's how empathetic I can get. I'm starting to cry right now. I can feel it. I can feel it coming. I have a lot of empathy inside of me. I do. So when I see one of my fighters lose, man, it does fuck with me a little bit. It does. I feel like it's my loss too. Because I see myself as a part of that fighter for some reason. Should I just do this? Should I just do that? Should I just stick the ring can like the turn off the damn light. Some technical difficulties in there for sure. So yeah, I do feel the pain. I have the anger and the disappointment and the embarrassment inside me whenever one of my guys lost. My dude that I fell in love with last season was Robert Valentine from The Ultimate Fighter. That's the only way for me to get really deeply invested in a guy, is if I watch The Ultimate Fighter and I get to know the person. I myself am a Viking man. I got Viking stuff all over me. There's Thor's hammer and Thor's face on it. I am a Viking dude. I got some Viking stuff on. So I saw his Viking stuff on him. And I was like, man, that looks like me. That's the kind of dude I am. I'm a Viking dude. See, right there? Thor's hammer, baby. Robert Valentine was my guy. I was like, oh, that's my dude. And when he had that elbow that really floored that poor Greek dude, I felt bad for that Greek guy. I was like, man, that sucks. That's really rough. But it made me even more interested in him. I was like, oh, man, like this guy got some power. Suddenly, Robert became a part of me. Suddenly I felt like Robert and me were one. Of course we're not. The guy's from Switzerland. None of my family's from Switzerland. We're from Rhineland. Which is like on the border between Germany and France. But I felt like we were. And then he won his second fight. And I was like, oh, my boy. I'm even more involved with this dude. Oh, yeah. That's me winning. It's not just him winning. It's me winning. And then when he went to the finale, And he lost against the American guy, which I should have been cool with. I should have been like, yay! The wrestler from America won because I'm an American. That is not how I felt. That is not how I fucking felt. 100% I felt wounded. I got so pissed off. My wife was sitting right next to me. I didn't want to throw a little fit in front of her. I clicked off, and I pretended like it didn't happen. Clicked off, pretended like it didn't happen. All I said was, that sucks. I didn't even want to watch the rest of the card. I was very mad. But deep down inside, I was wounded. Wounded. Like it had taken a piece of me. You can bet your sweet lily ass this has not been the first time it has happened to me. Back in the day, when I watched the very first The Ultimate Fighter, my dude was Chris Lee Ben, which it should have been, because he pissed on that Canadian guy's... What was that guy's name? Not Josh Rafferty. Not Loden Kincaid. I have all these tough fighters from the first season running around in my head who didn't become anything. Loden Kincaid, Josh Rafferty, Sam Hagar, Bobby Southworth. She's just all the people that don't matter. I know exactly who they are. Alex Karalexis. Like, if you're an old school UFC, like the Ultimate Fighter especially fan, you'll know who these guys are, maybe. Strange Brew. What was his name? He's the guy that Chris Lee Ben peed on his bed. Who? What's his name? What? Jason Thacker. I was never going to get that for some reason, which is fucking crazy, because I've certainly looked up his history as of late. How did I get so wildly off topic? Anyway, Chris Lee Ben pissed in Jason Thacker's bed, spread it all over him. The guy got kicked off of the show for not being good enough, and then during the finale, Chris Lee Ben beats the dog shit out of him. And it was fucking pathetic to watch this happen. This poor kid. This poor fucking guy. And it basically ruined his life. Like, Chris Lee Ben ruined Jason Thacker's life. And for some reason, that was my dude. Chris Lee Ben. When Anderson Silva almost killed Chris Lee Ben, I felt myself almost also die. I know we're going down memory lane here. We have to harken back to a prime Anderson Silva beating the red hair off of Chris Lee Ben. Chris Lee Ben had talked a mad amount of shit. A crazy amount of stupid stuff came out of his mouth before he fought Anderson Silva. And we didn't really know just how good Anderson was back then. He was looking pretty mid-tier back from Pride. You know, he hadn't had the best record in Pride. He'd gotten submitted a lot. You know, he'd had some rough roads. I don't remember seeing any videos of him losing any striking exchanges, but he'd even fought Lee Murray at some point. Who knew? Who knew what kind of killer he would become once he reached American promotions? My God, he fucked Chris Lee Ben up, and he fucked me up too at the same time. And then he fought my other favorite guy, Rich Franklin. Man, I had such a big gay boner for Rich Franklin. Yeah, I'm a married man, but I loved him. I Loved Rich Franklin. I really did. Deep in love. This is back in the day when it was like, you know, like the white boys were like the head of the house. Matt Hughes, Rich Franklin, Chuck Liddell, or Randy Couture, depending on what time frame it was in. Tim Sylvia, Andre Arlovsky, you know, the White Boy Central. I was like, yeah, the White Boys, this is our sport. Here comes Anderson Silva. John Jones. And very soon, Anderson Silva would dethrone him, beating the dog shit out of poor Rich Franklin, breaking his nose twice. Fucking devastating. And then my other guy, Chuck Liddell. I thought he was going to be on top for the rest of his life. But Father Time only gives you about 10 to 15 years to really be athletic. He only gives you like this short little window. And for Chuck Liddell, it was right around 38 when Rampage Jackson came back and just knocked his head all the way off. It was unfair. It was unfair, goddammit, to watch Chuck get beaten by Rampage twice. It's another guy that I loved. Watching him get defeated by him. And I fucking hate Rampage. I really do. The dude's a bully. I've seen him like sexually harass and assault women like right on television. Like during an interview. I can only imagine what he's like when the camera's off. Fuck you, Rampage! I see you on the street. Please don't approach me. I'll just lock the window because I'm not trying to fight you, my guy. But should you decide, hey, there's an answer for that too. Don't get crazy on me. There's no bullets in it right now. Don't get crazy. Don't get crazy on me, everybody. Jesus fucking Christ. This video has been completely unhinged. So this is kind of how I felt when Bo Nickel lost. It's a very roundabout way to get back to Bo Nickel. But it is. This is how I felt. When Bo Nickel lost, I somehow gained like a love of this dude. I was like, yeah, this guy's the shit. American wrestler. He's even a ginger. Not that I am. But, you know, it's good to see their kind coming out of the woodwork. I was wounded. And I have been wounded in the last couple of days. Seeing a lot of my favorite dudes get jacked up. I'm sure that Jack Della Maddalena is going to have a bad day too. I ain't got nothing good from Bilal. I don't think he's a bad guy or anything. I don't think any of these guys are bad guys except Rashad. No, Rashad's a good dude too. Except for Rampage. I don't think any of these dudes are bad. And even with Rampage, like, I don't... Okay. It's just, I don't get like emotionally attached to them the same way. Okay. I don't really know what I'm going for here. I feel like I just went on like a crazy rant. And then I pulled a gun out. This guy's nuts! This guy's crazy. I'm not. It just happened to be in the drawer there because I had to do something for work. I'm an armed guard. Like, for now. Until you guys give me enough attention to where I can just stay home and do this all the time, I have to go to work sometimes. And it sucks. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. Fuck. Alright. Well, let's do that very not fun type of the... Get out of here, alarm. Let's do the not fun part of the video. where we like, comment, and subscribe. Ah! Why must I do this? I have to though. It's gonna be a wild ride editing this video.